Well, caregiver burnout is a big problem. The founder and CEO of Viive Planning, Mallory McGrath, has some tips to help because we hear a lot about the physical toll of the sandwich generation and the emotional toll. But there's also something that a lot of people don't think about, and that's the financial implications.
Yes. So, I mean, it's really key for families to be thinking about, do I have enough money to live a long life? I mean, right now we see the baby boomers being the healthiest and wealthiest generation in that age bracket that we've ever seen. And that's incredible. Super happy for them. But they need to be thinking about not being healthy all the time. And what does that look like? Not necessarily from a health perspective, but from a financial perspective. Do they have the money to live to be 95, to be 100, to be beyond that? Because it requires considerable care. Whether you're in a retirement home or a long-term care home, or whether you're aging in place, money is going to be spent. And thinking about the cost of getting old is really key when you're in that retirement age bracket.
And it's not just aging clients that you deal with as well. You deal with younger clients because you could be facing an illness, which would mean that things need to change.
Exactly. And this is why when I work with young clients, so millennial clients in my age bracket, I say, go and get that critical illness insurance. Because what happens if you get diagnosed with cancer? You know, I have 3 best girlfriends, the 4 of us, statistically 1.5 of us is going to get breast cancer, right? So what if that happens when we're young with our young children? We need to make sure that we have the resources to provide support to our family and also to ourselves.
Okay, and you also help with kind of the legal implications, because there are so many things, if you're a caregiver, so many things that you don't realize. You have to, okay, am I going to have to get into banking records or going to have access, or and legally, like, what am I allowed to do?
Exactly. I mean, if you're caring for an aging relative, you really want to make sure long before you're actively in there helping them that they have a power of attorney for property and a power of attorney for personal care. That's what those documents...
Because they're 2 separate.
They are 2 separate, and that's what we call them in Ontario. They have different names in different provinces, but for the most part, they kind of do the same thing. So it's really important, especially because banks a lot of times aren't too keen on some of the wording that can go into powers of attorney for property. Sometimes banks want you to sign their own version. So doing this much earlier than you think is really key. For instance, my parents are all sort of in their 60s right now. They're healthy, they're doing great. The majority of them have pensions, it's awesome. But that doesn't mean that I don't want to make sure that I'm on a document or one of my siblings is on a document in case something happens, so that we're ready to step into that role and help them.
And if you are stepping into the role, you've got to realize that a lot of times it's unpaid work. And it's work.
It is exhaustive work. I mean, maybe you've heard the term sandwich generation. It's this idea that, you know, here I am, I'm 37, I have a daughter who's in grade 2, and let's say my mom was sick, or she had Alzheimer's, early onset Alzheimer's. All of a sudden, I'm in this dual caregiver role. I'm raising a child, I'm working full time, and I'm caring for my mother. And this is exhausting a generation of people right now, because there is very little resources to support this unpaid work that caregivers are providing to their family members.
Okay, so when you step in then, what do you typically do? And we've got about a minute left.
Sure, yeah. So we really try to get in early before there's anything serious going on. But if we get brought in to work with a family where they're already in that traumatic situation, where someone's sick or someone's close to the end of their life, we really try to emphasize the fact that there needs to be family communication, and that we need to make a little task list of what needs to be done and divvy it up amongst family members. It is not one person's job to be a caregiver.
And normally it's a daughter.
I know, it's normally a daughter or a daughter-in-law steps in, right? We need to make sure that everyone is taking on tasks regardless of where they are geographically as well. There's always things that can be done and split up amongst the family.
Okay, a lot more to ask, but we'll have you back for another time.
Wonderful,
In the meantime, we will get all your links up on our website, chch.com/morninglive. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.